new lesson called as My Early Home. What it is? My Early Home. It was written by Anna Sewell. This story has been taken from the novel Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. This is a story written by Anna Sewell. Okay, this is a novel. And the narrator is a handsome black horse named Black Beauty. What is the speciality? This means this is a story of a horse. Okay, the horse name is Black Beauty. What it is? Black Beauty. The Black Beauty himself is explaining how he was in the field and how he was grazing the grass and how the leader who were taking care of him. Okay, his whoever was treating him, okay, masters who were treating him, how kind he was, how cruel and how foolish and all. There were different kinds of masters who were treating this Black Beauty. This is regarding the horse story. Okay, the horse itself is explaining about the experiences of his masters and everything. Okay, I will read the story first. I will read paragraph by paragraph and then explain. The first place that I can remember well is a large, pleasant meadow with a pond of clear water in it. Some shady trees leaned over it, and rushes and water lilies grew at the deep end. Over the hedge on one side, we looked into a plowed field, and on the other, we looked over a gate at our master's house, which stood by the roadside. At the top of the meadow was a plantation of fir trees, and at the bottom a running brook with steep banks. So, what it is saying first, where the horses were grazing in a pleasant means very calm and quiet. Meadow. What do you mean by meadow? Last year also you had. Meadow means it's nothing but a grass land. The first place that I can remember well is a large pleasant meadow with a pond of clear water in it. So it was very big large space, and there was a small pond also, and it had some water which was very clear. The water was very clear also. Some shady trees leaned over it. Okay, and trees were there surrounding the pond. And rushes and water lilies grew at the deep end. Here, that rushes is been highlighted. It is somewhere shaded in brown color. So that means they are mentioning the important words, meanings of the important words also. Rushes, tall grass-like plants that grow near water. So in near water, you can see some tall grasses also. Grasses means hulu. Okay, those grasses were there. Those were called as rushes. What was it called? Rushes. And water lilies grew at the deep end. At the end of the pond, some water lilies grew there. Over the hedge on one side, we looked into a plowed field. Okay, hedge. What do you mean by hedge? A line of bushes. Okay, a line of bushes and small trees planted very close together. A line of bushes, a small tree. Some small trees were there, were planted together near the hedge. That is called as hedge. What it is called? Hedge. On the one side, we looked into a plowed field, and on the other, we looked over a gate at our master's house. So this Black Beauty is explaining how the field was and where was his master's house and how the grazing field. He was grazing. Grazing means meadow. Okay, those field how it was and how that pond, everything that Black Beauty is describing. And there was one side, the other side was pond, the other side was this master's house, which stood by the roadside. It was just by the roadside. At the top of the meadow was a plantation of fir trees. So, at the top of the meadow grassland, there were a plantation of fir trees. Fir trees means tea plantation. Okay, there were those trees also. And at the bottom, a running brook with steep bank. So what happened? Top was a fir trees, meadow was there, and at the bottom, so meadow is in the middle. Okay, top is a plantation of fir trees, and the bottom you can see a running brook. Okay, you could have seen a running brook. What do you mean by brook? A small stream, or just a small stream, near in a okay, a small stream just flowing with steep banks. Steep means very deep. It will be flowing very deeply with steep banks. Even those words have been highlighted. Plantation plantation. What do you mean by plantation? A large farm on which a particular type of crop is grown. Plantation means only particular type. So what kind of plant was grown here? Sorry, fir trees. Okay, that is tea plantation was grown in this field. While I was young, I drank my mother's milk. So everybody knows that when they are young, we would have drank milk only. So like this only, even this Black Beauty drank its mother's milk. As I could not eat grass. In the daytime, I ran by her side, and at night I lay down close by her. When it was hot, we used to stand by the pond in the shade of the trees, and when it was cold, we had a nice warm shed near the plantation. So what it was just describing what all it did when it was young. While I was young, I drank my mother's milk because it was not able to eat the grass. So when the horse was young, that is Black Beauty, it's telling that I was not able to eat grass, so I drank only milk. In the daytime, I ran by her side. During the daytime, what it used to do, it used to run to her side, to mother's side. And at night, I lay down close by her. It was very closely to her, his mother. When it was hot, we used to stand by the pond. It was when the climate was hot, so it needs some shelter, isn't it? Shade. So what it used to do, it used to stand near the pond in the shade of the tree. And when it was cold, during the cold season, we had a nice warm shed. One shed was there near the plantation. So it used to go there, and it was keeping itself very, very warm to the Black Beauty. As soon as I was old enough to eat grass, my mother used to go out to work in the daytime and come back in the evening. So it said, so as days passed, I grew now. The Black Beauty started to grow. During that time, it started to eat grass. Then my mother used to go out to work. So what happens? That mother, it used to go to work in the daytime, and it was returning back in the evening. There were 6 young colts in the meadow besides me. What do you mean by colts? C-O-L-T-S. Colts. Colts is nothing but the young male horses. Okay. The young male horses. Male means gandu. Okay. Horses are called as colts. What do they call? Colts. There were 6 young colts in the meadow besides me. They were older than I was, somewhere nearby as large as grown-up horses. So, the other 6 colts were elder than this Black Beauty. Okay. And they were nearly as large as grown-up horses. They were looking like a very, very big grown-up horses also. I used to run with them and had great fun. So, this Black Beauty is explaining that it used to run with those colts also. And they had a very great fun also. We used to gallop together. So when the horses are running, we don't call horses are running very fast. No. They use one particular word called as gallop. What it is called? Gallop. G-A-L-L-O-P. Okay. Gallop together round and round the field as hard as we could go. You see horses gallop very fastly. We can't just beat them also. They gallop very fastly. So they were galloping very, very quickly and energetic, and they were very, very active also. As hard as we could go. Sometimes we had rather rough play. So it's explaining the other horses were competing with this Black Beauty also. It was not able because it's quite a little bit younger than the other horses. So it used to tell they were galloping so fast, and I was not able to go along with them also. Rather rough play, for they would frequently bite and kick. What they used to do, they were elder thing, no? So what they used to do, they used to bite this Black Beauty, and they used to kick also. They used to do all these things. One day, when there was a good deal of kicking, my mother whinnied to me to come to her, and then she said, I wish you to pay attention to what I am going to say to you. So what happened one day when there was a good deal of kicking? So like this only, these other horses were kicking the poor Black Beauty. What happened? My mother whinnied. Whinnied. What do you mean by whinnied? Past tense of whinny. A soft sound made by a horse. Okay. A soft sound made by a horse. come to her, and then she said, I wish you to pay attention to what I'm going to say to you. So mother came and said to the Black Beauty, okay, you just come. In the soft voice it said, don't go with them. She was explaining, you have to pay attention to me. Attention to me means you have to listen to my words. The colts who live here are good colts, but they are cart horse colts, and of course they have not learned manners. So what happened? She was explaining the colts. Colts are nothing but the young male horses. Whichever horses are here, they are not as good colts because they are not very good, because they don't have manners also. Why? They are cart horse colts. Cart horse colts means these colts are tied up to the wheels actually. Kudre bandi they say, no, that is the meaning of carts. Okay. These colts go there and they are being tied there. They don't have good manners also. And they are very rough to play. You have been well bred and well born. Your father has a great name in these parts, as your grandfather won the cup 2 years back at the Newmarket races. You have been well bred. Okay. And see, they are very good, and you have been brought up also very good. Don't join those colts because they are only used for colt. They are only used for cart riding. So you don't go. It the mother horse is explaining to the Black Beauty. Okay. And it's explaining grandfather won the cup. When the horses gallop fastly, that particular team will get the first prize, isn't it? So like that, the grandfather horse got the cups and all. She was explaining, your grandmother had the sweetest temper of any horse I ever knew. So it's explaining that even your grandmother was having the sweetest temper. Temper, what do you mean by temper? State of mind. Temper means not getting very angry very quickly also. Very cool minded. So that is the meaning of temper. They say something, if you are very angry, that oh, you are very short tempered, isn't it? So that is the meaning, state of mind. So this teddy bear, sorry, this Black Beauty is explaining that your grandmother had a soft temper of any horse I ever knew, and I think you have never seen me kick or bite. It was very soft with the other horses also. It never used to kick and bite also. I hope you will grow up gentle and good. So it's telling that even you should also grow up very gentle and good also. Even your parents will explain, isn't it? You be very soft, kind to others and everything. Like that, even the Black Beauty's mother was explaining to the Black Beauty, don't join with the calls. They are very harsh and rough to play with you. Be very soft and gentle like your grandparents. And never learn bad ways. Don't learn any bad habits from those. Do your work with a good will and good will. Okay, good will. What do you mean by will? Ability and interest. Will means nice-hearted, kind-hearted. Don't be very harsh to others. That is what she is explaining. Mother is explaining. Lift your feet up well when you trot. Okay, when you just walk and go, when you gallop or anything, lift your feet. Trot. Trot. What do you mean by trot? Run slowly. Trot. I think you studied this also in the first lesson. Okay. Trot. And never bite or kick even in play. Don't bite others. Don't kick others. You be very soft to your other horses. I have never forgotten my mother's advice. So the Black Beauty mother is explaining that my mother was very kind to me. She was very kind, and I was listening to her advice also. I knew she was very wise, and her master thought a great deal of her. Her name was Duchess, but he often called her Pet. So she was explaining about the mother. Till here, you practice reading also, children. This is a little bit lengthy story. I will do other part in the next class. Okay, now wherever I've done, you practice the meanings and spellings also, and I will make you to write in the class box also. Till here you can again do the reading practice. Thank you.